Hello students, today we will discuss the first unit of the pharmacology, that is routes of administration of drugs. Students, drugs may be administered by various routes. So the choice of the route in a given patient depends on the properties of the drug and the patient's requirement. So a knowledge of the advantages and disadvantages of the different routes of drug administration is essential for the appropriate use of drugs. So the routes can be broadly divided into the three types. First one is enteral, second one is parenteral, and third one is topical. So the enteral routes includes oral route, sublingual route, buccal route, rectal route, vaginal route, and rectal route. So let us discuss about the oral route. So before discussing about the oral route, the enteral route is the most commonly used, oldest, and safest route of drug administration. So the larger surface area of the gastrointestinal tract, that is GIT, and the mixing of its contents and the differences in the pH at different parts of the gut facilitate effective absorption of drugs given orally. However, the acid and enzyme secreted in the gut and biochemical activity of the bacterial flora of the gut can destroy some drugs before they are absorbed. So the drug forms which can be given by the oral route are tablets, capsules, powder, mixture, etc. So these dosage forms can be administered through this oral route. And students, the oral route, um, it is made up of the Latin word, that is PO, from the Latin per os. It is the abbreviation used to indicate oral route of medication administration. So students, oral route has several advantages. First one is it is convenient. It is convenient because the drugs which can be used or taken through this route, they can be self-administered. This route is pain-free and the drugs can be easily taken. Second one is absorption. If a patient takes the dosage form through this route, the absorption of the drugs takes place along the whole length of the GIT tract. And third and most important advantages is this route is the dosage form which can be taken through this route is cheap. That means it costs less as compared to the most other parenteral routes. Also, this route is pain free, so there will be no pain to the patient. So that is why this route is very convenient and economical. But in addition to the advantages, this route also have several disadvantages. First one is inefficient. So the this route sometimes prove to be inefficient because only part of the drug is absorbed. Second one is first pass metabolism. So the some drugs which can be taken through the oral route, they undergo first pass metabolism. So they are metabolized even before they are absorbed. Next is this route is not an emergency route because it takes some time to get absorbed because disintegration and dissolution takes place. So this will lead to the delay in the absorption. The irritant drugs cannot be given through this route because they can cause irritation to the GIT tract. This route can also be this route cannot be used in case of unconscious and non-cooperative patients. So this is the biggest advantage of this route. And certain drugs cannot be given through this route as they are destroyed by the gastric enzyme. So the care should be taken that sufficient quantity of water should be given to the patient with the drug to prevent sticking of the drug in esophagus and to decrease irritant effect of medicines taken. So the patient has difficulty in swallowing medicine should be given in liquid form as suspension mixture. So student, we have just studied about the first pass effect. So first pass metabolism is the metabolism of a drug during its passage from the site of absorption to the systemic circulation. So it is also called pre-systemic metabolism or first pass effect, and it is an important feature of oral route of administration. So the drugs given orally may be metabolized in the gut wall and in the liver before reaching the systemic circulation. So the extent of first pass metabolism differs from drug to drug and among individuals from partial to total inactivation. So when it is partial, it can be compensated by giving higher doses of the particular drug, that is nitroglycerin, propranolol, salbutamol. But for the drugs that undergo complete first pass metabolism, the route of administration has to be changed. The example of the drugs is isoprenaline, insulin, and hydrocortisone. So, bioavailability of many drugs is increased in patients with the liver disease due to reduction in hepatic metabolism. So, students, here are some dosage forms which can be taken through the oral route. First one is tablet, capsules, liquids, solutions, suspensions, syrups, and elixirs. So, students, second route is sublingual route. It is the sublingual administration or sublingual route is the route where the dosage form is placed under the tongue. This route is used for administration of nitroglycerin tablets in the disease that is angina pectoris. So, methyl testosterone in the form of sublingual tablets is given as a male hormone. Isoprenaline is given in the treatment of bronchial asthma, which is also given through the sublingual route. This route is selected because there is very rapid absorption of the drug from this route or from the sublingual mucosa. Now, just look at the advantages of this route. The first advantage of this route is economical. The most important advantage of this route is onset of action is quick because absorption is very quick in this route. So this is the biggest advantage of this route. Second advantage is the overdose of drug is avoided. Next is first pass metabolism is also avoided in this route. If the drug is given through this route, the drug is not destroyed by the stomach enzymes. So also metabolic destruction in the liver is avoided, that is first pass metabolism. So the medicines which are not allowed to swallow or chew, the tablet is kept below the tongue. So if we look at the disadvantages of this route, first one is unpalatable and bitter drugs cannot be taken, or it is very difficult for the bitter drugs to give through this route. So it can also cause irritation of the oral mucosa. The main disadvantage of this route is large quantities of drugs cannot be taken. So there is a very limited amount or quantity of the drug that can be given through this route. So the quantity limitation is the biggest disadvantage of this route. Um, Second most important disadvantage of this route is few drugs are absorbed from this route. So not every drug can be given through this route. So second route, next route is buccal route. This is buccal administration is where the dorsal form is placed between gums and inner lining of the cheek, that is buccal pouch. It is absorbed by the buccal mucosa. If we look at the advantage of this route is this route avoid first pass metabolism, rapid absorption of drug is there, and stability of drug is there. In case of disadvantages is inconvenience, it can cause inconvenience to the patient. Advantages are lost if the drug is or the dorsal form is swallowed. So, and the main disadvantage of this route is small dose limit. So, very limited amount of dose or quantity of drug is can be given through this route, which is same just like the sublingual route. Next route is rectal route. So the drugs through this route in the form of suppository or enema are given to produce local or systemic effects. So drugs like paraldehyde, glucose can be administered through this route. So the chlorpromazine suppositories are given for vomiting control. Suppositories are medicines which incorporated in waxy waste which melts at a body temperature. So the medicated suppositories are stored in refrigerator because they can be melted at the normal room temperature. Indomethacin suppositories are administered for the rheumatoid arthritis, aminophylline suppository for bronchial asthma. So enema is liquid preparation introduced in the colon. So evacuation enema, that is also used for the purgation effect. So the retention enema is which is meant for administration of drugs for systemic as well as for local use. So example is cortisone is given through this route in case of ulcerative colitis. If we look at the advantages of this rectal route is irritation of gastric mucosa is avoided by this route, and the drugs which are destroyed by gastric enzymes can be administered by this route. So the medicines which are destroyed during first pass metabolism through the liver can be administered through this route. And next is this route is useful in terminal sick patients. Now next is disadvantages of the rectal route. The first and main disadvantage of this route is inconvenient. This route of drug administration is inconvenient to the patients. Also, absorption of drug is very slow and erratic, and irritation or inflammation of the rectal mucosa can be there. So these are the main disadvantages of this rectal route. Next route of drug administration is systemic parenteral. So the parenteral administration is injection or infusion by means of a needle or catheter inserted into the body. So the term parenteral comes from Greek words that is made up of two Greek words, and that is para and antron. Para means outside and antron means the intestine. So this route of administration bypasses the alimentary canal. So if we just look at the systemic parenterals, these are the injectables, which includes intravenous injections, intramuscular injections, subcutaneous injections, intra-arterial injections, intra-articular injections, intrathecal injections, and intradermal injections. In case of inhalation, that is absorption of the drugs takes place through the lungs. So now if we look at the intravenous injections, in case of intravenous injections, the drugs is administered in the veins. Advantage, so the drugs which can be given through this route is bolus, where an initial large dose, that is also called loading dose, is given. Example is heparin. So the drugs dissolved in a suitable amount of the vehicle and injected slowly. So next is slow injection. Slow injection is always given over a period of 15 to 20 minutes. Example of slow injection is a injection of mynophylline. Next is slow infusion. When constant plasma concentrations are required, uh, that example of this oxytocin in liver, when the or when larger volumes have to be given, that is lactose and saline. So generally about 1 liter of solution is infused over 3 to 4 hours. But however, the patient's condition and the drug factors like the onset and duration of action of the drug dictates the rate of the infusion. So if we look at the advantages of the intravenous route, the most important advantage of this route is bioavailability is 100%. It provides predictable blood concentrations with 100% bioavailability. So the desired blood concentrations can be achieved with this route because there will be no metabolism of the drug. So the drug is directly given to the veins, that is directly in the blood. Next example is this route. Next advantage is this route is most useful route in emergencies, as the drug is immediately available for the action, and large quantities or larger volume of the solutions can be given through this route. The irritants can be given by this route as they are quickly diluted in the blood, and in case of vomiting and diarrhea, this route is best route for the administration of the drugs. And also the rapid dose adjustments are possible. If unwanted effects occur, infusion can be stopped. So if higher levels are required, infusion rate can be increased, especially for short-acting drugs. But with these much advantages, this route also have some disadvantages. First one is the drug once injected cannot be withdrawn. It can also cause irritation and cellulitis. Uh, Irritation of the veins may cause thrombophlebitis, and this route is less safe, and technical assistance is required while administration of the drugs. It can there may be chances of the infection if drug is given through this route. So this route is also expensive, and this route is less convenient and most painful to the patient. And only aqueous solutions can be given IV, but not suspensions. So oily solutions and depot preparations, and self medication is difficult with this route. So next route is intramuscular route. In this route of drug administration, the needle is introduced deeply in the deltoid muscles or the gluteal muscles. So the injected medicine reaches in the blood circulation and produces its effect. So the action of medicine administered is quicker than in oral route. So if proper care is not used, there is danger of the nerve injury. So total or maximum 10 ml volume of drug can be administered by this route. So if we look at the advantages of this route, absorption reasonably uniform, rapid onset of action of drug is there, and mild irritant can be given through this route. First pass metabolism is also avoided, and gastric factors can be avoided. So next one is disadvantages. So only up to 10 ml of drug is given through this route, and formation of abscess and presence of pain will be there at the site of the administration. This route is also expensive, chances of infection are there, and chances of nerve injury are very much. So these are the main disadvantages of this route. So next is subcutaneous route of drug administration. So in this route, the injection is made by inserting a hypodermic needle through the layers of the skin into the areolar tissue. So absorption is slow, so action is prolonged. So the example of drugs that can be given through this route is certain hormonal drugs. Next is intra-arterial route of drug administration. This route is very much rarely used. So anti-cancer drugs are always administered through this route because localized effects will are required in case of anti-cancer drugs. So the intra-arterial route is used in case of anti-cancer drugs. So the drugs which are used for diagnosis of peripheral vascular disease, they are always administered through this intra-arterial route. So next route of drug administration is intra-articular route. So the drugs are directly injected into a joint for the treatment of arthritis and other diseases of the joints. Uh, in example of the drugs which can be given in this route is hydrocortisone is injected in the affected joint in case of rheumatoid arthritis. So, so the strict aseptic precautions are required in case of this route of administration. So next route of drug administration is the intradermal. So in case of intradermal route of drug administration, the drug is given within skin layers, and this route is the painful route, and it is mainly used for testing sensitivity to the drugs. Example is penicillin and anti-tetanus serum. So next route is topical route of drug administration. So in, in this route, the drugs are directly applied to the skin and they are absorbed to the in the blood through the skin. So the includes administration of drugs to any mucous membrane of the eye, nose, ear, and lungs. Also vagina, urethra, and colon. So the dosage forms for the topical administration include, in case of skin, creams, ointments, lotions, gels, transdermal patches, and discs uh, can be used in case of skin. And the solution, suspensions, and ointments can be used in case of eye and ear. And sprays and powders are used in case of the nose and lungs. Now we look at the advantages and disadvantages of the topical route. Uh, this route has local therapeutic effects. So the not well absorbed into deeper layers of the skin or mucous membrane. So the low risk of the side effects. So the transdermal route offers steady level of drug in the system. So sprays for inhalation through the nose may be for local or systemic effects. Next is transdermal. So absorption of drug through skin is can cause systemic action. So it provides stable blood levels, no first pass metabolism, and drugs must be potent or patch becomes too large. Next is route of for administration, that is time until effect. So in case of intravenous, 30 to 60 seconds are required to show its effect. So in case of intraosseous, 30 to 60 seconds are required. In case of endotracheal route, 2 to 3 minutes are required. In case of inhalation route, 2 to 3 minutes are required. In case of sublingual route, 3 to 5 minutes are required. And in case of intramuscular route, 30 to 20 minutes are required to show its effect. And next is in case of subcutaneous route, 15 to 30 minutes are required. And in case of rectal route, which can take 5 to 30 minutes to show its effect. And if we ingest the tablet, it can take 30 to 90 minutes to show its effect. And in case of transdermal, that is topical, um, the time to show the effect of the drug may vary from minutes to several hours. So next and most important point that can be considered is selection of the route. So it is based on several parameters. First one is the physical characteristics of the drug. It is the most important parameter. The physical character of the drug will select the route of the drug administration. The speed which the drug is absorbed and or released. And next is how much need is to bypass hepatic metabolism. So to achieve higher concentration and particular sites or not, accuracy of dosage and condition of the patient, it is the most important parameter, that is condition of the patient. So thank you guys, that is all for the day. Thank you so much.